How do you suggest to study puzzles? I think it's what you do is you try to brute force it. You try to look at a line all the way through. Like you'll notice I try to look at bishop g6 all the way through. Then I try to look at bishop h7, and then I try to look at king f2. And I think the process of trying to analyze the variation all the way to the end is very important. However, if you're newer to the game and you're not like a grandmaster specifically, let's say your rating's like 1600, I would actually suggest what you do is you play like one move. You try to figure out a line, but then you do make the moves on your board and get here and you try to figure it out. All right, so we're gonna do some puzzles. This is studied by Oleg Pervakov. Okay, let's hit the start button. Okay, and away we go, you guys. We should be good. All right, so what can this be? This is turn off evaluation. Yeah, but I don't see the line, so I want evaluation on for you guys. So this is white to play and win is my guess. Let's see. So the first move is obviously bishop g2. If king to b8, rook to g8 is winning because the bishop covers the square, so the king can't come forward, and then you lose your knight, and I take. So if I check on g2, you have to go knight d5, and then I go rook e6. Then black goes rook g5, and this is where I have to think and figure out where the win is. So the first move is this much is clear. Takes rook g5, and then I have to figure out. Oh, and then it's rook g8, king b7, rook g8. Because if takes, you take, and you create the pyramid of Giza because you put the king in check and you win. And if black goes rook e5, you go rook d8, and then you collect, and you should be winning. But let me think for 1 second. Yeah, I think that's just it, unless I'm missing something. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so check knight d5, takes, check there, check, king b7, rook g8. You guard everything. You hit the knight. You have the diagonal. If rook e5, you go rook d8. I think that's just winning unless I'm blind. Rook h5, rook d8. Rook f5, rook d8. Rook e5, rook d8. Yeah, so that's just winning. I think I just got it. So I'm gonna stop the clock and let's that was pretty fast. It only took me a buck 41. Why is rook g5 forced? Because I'll give you an example. So I'm pretty confident I'm just gonna lock it in. That it's this easy. I don't think I missed something. I'm pretty sure I didn't. So let's turn on the lines and let's see. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Okay, so the move that I said was bishop g2, and it's winning because as I said, if black goes king b8 here to step out of the check, you go rook g8 check. King can't come forward because the bishop covers. And after knight e8, rook takes e8. White simply has a rook and a bishop against a rook, so white is winning. So black has to go knight d5 here, and now you play rook takes e6. And the point after rook e6 is that if black takes the rook, you go bishop d5. You check the king, and you're going to collect the rook. This bishop actually forks you guys. So bishop takes d5 is winning. So here black has a couple of moves. So let's start with the two moves that don't work. So let's say black goes rook f5. You go rook to d6. You target the knight. The knight is still pinned, and it's winning. If black goes rook h5, you go rook d6 again, and here as well, you just collect the knight on d5. So this looks pretty straightforward. Okay. So black has to go rook g5 to prevent this rook move because now you target the bishop on g2, and now you go rook e8 check, king b7, and you go rook g8. So the rook guards the bishop on g2. If black takes the rook on g8, then you snap the knight on d5, and the bishop is forking the king. The bishop, or I guess fork or double attack. The bishop is attacking the king and the rook here. So if black takes the bishop, you of course take with the rook, and you're way ahead. So black can't take either of these pieces. And so now black has to move the rook. Again, there are three squares. None of them really make a difference. I don't think if you go to h5, I just go rook d8. And this way I collect the knight as well. If you go to rook f5, I go rook d8. I collect the knight here as well. And if you go to e5, same thing, rook d8. You can make a check on e1, but after king to a2, again, I just collect the knight on d5. And very importantly, you guys, if black plays like king b6 here, the one last trick is that, of course, you don't take with the bishop. Because after bishop d5, black is king c7. And your rook is under attack, and when it moves away, you lose the bishop. So you don't take with the bishop. That's the last trick. You take with the rook. But after rook takes, bishop takes, king b5, king a2. White is very simply winning because, first of all, it's not a rook pawn. But even if this pawn was on a3 here, for example, the bishop would be covering the queening square. So it's a very routine win for white. So that first puzzle is pretty routine. I'm glad that I got it right away. And so that's the first puzzle we have. All right, so that first one was pretty standard. Now let's move on to our next one. Let me turn off the line so that we don't end up getting spammed with it. Okay, here we go. That took 1:41. So let's go to the next one. All right. So this one, I think I've seen this one. This is white to play and win. I've seen something very similar, maybe not this exact puzzle. Now, it's ironic that after the last puzzle, this is what we get, because if the pawn, for example, let me just make some random moves. Let me make some moves just so you guys see the concept. If you get a position like this, it's very, oh, sorry, I should start the timer. It's very similar to the last puzzle, except first of all, this is a rook pawn. It's on the very edge, but additionally, you'll notice that the other one, the pawn was on this square. With the pawn in h2 here and the bishop on f5, the bishop does not cover the square. This is a dark square, which is opposite of the light square, so this would be an easy draw. So that's the main problem that you have at the start of this puzzle. All right, okay, let's see. So the first move is obviously king f2. It's king c7 takes, and I believe black is supposed to go to d8, and then you have to be very careful. I'm pretty sure, or is it h4 first? Let me think. Okay, this is not obvious. This one is not obvious. I think if you go king f2 here first, king c7, king f2, king c7, king f3, king d8, bishop h7, king e7, king g5 should be winning. So wait, okay, I need to take a second. King f2, king c7 takes, king d6, king g4, g6, and it's a draw. It's a draw. It's a draw. Okay, so wait. So I go here, takes, actually wait, and then g6 period. Wait, so okay, if I go here, I take g6, h4, king d6, that's a draw. So wait. Wait a second. So I think, wait, so if I go here in g6, takes here, h4, d6, h5, e7, h6, king f8, or is it? So wait, so there are a couple options. Either it is bishop to g6, or I want to say it's h4. It's one of these two moves. I don't know which one it is right off. It could be bishop h7 too, actually. Wait, so let's work this out. So bishop h7, king c7. No, this is winning. It's not a draw. This is winning. Bishop h7, let's say I go g5, f2, king here, takes here, you win. So bishop h7, g5 is no good. So bishop h7, black goes king c7, you go king f2. Say black goes king g7, you take. Say black goes g5, king g4, king e7, that's winning. Okay, so you go bishop h7, king c7, king f2, king d7. Takes g6. It's a draw again, I think. There. Let me think about this. Just have to make sure. Basically, the way I'm doing this by process of elimination. Now, in an actual game, I might not try to do it this way. Why is the engine saying 0 if it's winning? Because the engine is stupid. That's why. I'm pretty sure it's one of these two moves. When I make sure bishop h7 doesn't win, then I'm pretty sure I move on. I mean, I guess king f2 already I know doesn't win, because king f2, the king f2 g6, king f3, king c7, that is a draw. So actually, it's one of these two moves. It's h7 or g6. Now let's say I go to h7, king here, takes. Actually, you know what's peculiar about it saying zeros here is that I'm pretty sure chess.com incorporated table bases into this, so I'm wondering why it's saying 0. Is it this? Wait, actually, I think it's bishop g6, king c7, h4, king d8, king f2, king e7, h5, king f8, bishop h7, g5. Wait, but if you play en passant, that's a draw again. No, this is very tricky. Okay, this will take me a little bit. Yeah, the line that I'm thinking, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's bishop g6, king c7, but then I have to get the right order. Bishop g6, king c7. Wait, so okay, so here you go here, king d7, okay, king e7, and that's a draw. Wait, so okay, so, and by the way, you guys, this is why endgames are so unpleasant, is that in endgames, like, you see this and you're like, it's so limited in terms of material, so it should be very easy to brute force it, but it's actually a lot harder to brute force endgames. let's see. So I'm pretty confident this is the first one. I think it's here, here. Takes king e7, and then it's a draw. Wait a second. It could also be h4 because king c7, h5, king d8, h5, king d8, king f2, king e7 takes, king f7, bishop h7. Yes, I found it. It's winning. It's winning. I'm pretty sure it's winning. Let me double check this. Okay, so let me make sure. So if I go h4, there are no pawn moves. G6 takes. So let me see. So h4 here takes here, h5 here, here, and you win. Okay. So again, if h4, g6 takes, c7, h5, d6, h6, e7, h7, f6, and you queen first. So you win. So after h4, you can't push the pawns. So it has to be king c7. So h4, king c7, I'm pretty confident is a start. And then I think the move is I think it's bishop g6, king d7, king f2, king e7, king e7. Wait. No, I just got it wrong again. Wait a second. So h4, king c7, bishop g6, king d7, h5, king e7, king f2, king f8, bishop h7, g5. That's still not winning. Okay, so it's actually not winning. So let me revisit another line. So king f2, king f7, king f3. If g6, you take here, still a draw. So here, king c7 takes g6, h4, king d6. Very tricky. No, this is not a draw. This is not a draw. It's definitely winning. No, the line that I'm looking at, you guys, is after en passant, it's actually a draw. So I guess I'll show it to you because I'm still working my process. Let me just give you an example of this exact line, you guys. So the line that I was talking about was where you get this line. Was actually this one's winning, but just so you guys see it from a different order. If you get this one after king g7, this is actually a draw because the bishop is stuck. You see, the bishop is stuck here, so no matter what I do, this is just a draw. So if you get this position, the bishop is dead on h7, which is why we go back to the start and we have to figure it out. Because if you get the bishop on h7 with en passant, it's a draw. So let's see. So if I go king f2 here, if I go king f2 in this position, actually, this is not the music for this song. Sorry, I have to for this puzzle. Let me change the song. Actually, neither is this song, but I'll let it go. Neither song is right here. Both these songs are very bad. Okay. I'm trying to look at a puzzle and I have this song blasting also. Okay. Okay. So king f2, king c7 looks fine. I want to say it's actually here, king c7, and then you go bishop h7, king d7, f3, e7, g4, f7, g5, g6, king h6. I think that's winning. So I actually think it is king f2 the more I look at this. I think it's king f2, king c7, you take, king d6, king f4, but then there's g6. Ah, wait, maybe it's here. It's definitely king f2, king c7. I think it's actually bishop h7 maybe. Yeah, I think it's king f. It's definitely king f2, king c7, and I think it's bishop h7. d7 takes e7, g4, f7, g5, g6, h6, g5. But that's a g5, h3. King f6, bishop g6, king e7. Yeah, I was looking at a different endgame where the pawn gets to g5. Oh, its music's too loud. Yeah, it is too loud. Yeah. Not sure. I'm pretty sure it's still too loud. Okay, let me check. The line I was looking at was a line where the pawn gets a g5 and I get a king on g7. The king is on e7, and that might just be winning now that I think about it. There. Actually, that's just winning. I think it's king f2, king c7. I think it's king f2, king c7. I'm pretty sure it's bishop h7. So I'm pretty sure it's king here, bishop h7. Wait. So if I go here, g6 takes c7. Here, g6 takes c7, h4, d6, h5, e7, h6, f8 here, h6, then here, then here, then here, then here, and you win the game. So I'm almost certain it's king f2, king c7. And then I'm pretty sure it's bishop h7, king d7 takes. If g6, king f4 is winning, so king e7, king f4, king g4, I should say, king f7, king g5. And I'm pretty sure that's winning. I might be missing something, but I'm pretty sure I got it right. So let me stop it, because I'm pretty sure that's right. So let's see, is it correct or not? Let's see what survey says. Okay, so king f2 is the only move that wins. So to run through what I was saying, yeah, h4 doesn't win, because after king c7 you go here, and after let's say you take, black goes g6, and this was initially why I thought about bishop g6, because here, as you see, the black king gets the corner, and again the bishop is the wrong color versus this queening square. Wrong color. This is maybe the one time that the wrong arrows actually work here. So that's why I didn't like it. So king f2 is right. Okay, and now of course if g5 you take, king comes up, you take, king comes here, and you get your king to the corner. And as long as your king is in the corner, it's a very easy win. What happens is you push the pawn up, cut the square, king goes away, you move your king, escort the pawn, goes to the board, you make a queen and win. So that's why g5 is a bad move. So here black goes king c7, and I got it. The move is bishop h7. This is the correct move. And the reason is, again, to stop g6. If you play like king f3, you have the same problem with g6 here that I hinted out earlier, where it takes and the king just makes a beeline for h8, and it's an easy drop. And if you go h4 here, again, black ignores it. Only one goal: get the king to h8, get this king to one of these three squares, and it's a draw. So that's why here, as I was pointing out, you do have to go or not here, sorry, after king 7 you go bishop h7. Again, if black goes g5 here, what happens is you take, king comes over, and as you'll see, the king is just one square short. And now once the white king gets over, again after this, you go here, king gets up, king boxes out, the black king can't get over, and it's just a very, very routine win. And of course, if black goes king f8, you just go king g6, king cannot wait, has to go out, same thing, king comes up, run the pawn up the board. So after bishop h7, black will probably play like king d8. Now you take the pawn. Again, if black goes g6 here, very important, you now go king f4, king e7, king g5, king f7, king e6. Now what I was thinking about when I was staring at the ceiling for a couple minutes was specifically this g5 h3 position. So I was trying to figure out, can you win this easily? Play it versus Max Engine, I would win this 100 out of 100 after the first two moves. And if king f8, you go king g6, king e7, bishop f8, bishop g8, sorry, king f8, and then bishop comes back, you cut the diagonal. You see king can't get over here, both squares are covered by the bishop and the king. They cover the two squares, king comes out, and now you eat the pawn, king comes back, and now you go king g6, king cannot get over, bishop covers, king comes up, and now you can just go here and run the pawn up the board again and win with the bishop and pawn. So now if we go back, what I was thinking about was yeah, so bishop h7, of course. So yeah, so king d8, you take, king g6. So black can't go g6, so black goes king e7 here. And now you go king g4. Very important, by the way, not to go king f4. So after king f4, king f6 is a draw again. This is the important thing, because now if you go king g4, we reach Bobby Fischer land. I go pawn to g6 and king g7, and now you go bishop g8, king gets back, and you'll notice once again king has made it successfully to the corner, and now it's a draw again, which is why it's very important that here you go king g4. So on king f6 you can go king to h5. Extremely important move, because now on g6 you go king h6, king f7, and now you can play, I don't know, h3 actually is a draw, that's right, so you have to go h4 here, and now if the king goes back, you take again, same thing, king e7, king g7, not h3 by the way, because if black goes g5, this is actually a draw, because you'll notice this is what's called Zugzwang in the great language Deutsch, where if white takes the pawn with the king gets to the corner. If you move the bishop like here, my king gets to the corner again, so you don't want to move the bishop or the king, but you also can't move the pawn because then I eat your pawn. So if we get to this position, this is actually a draw. But now if we go all the way back to the other line, what was the other line? There was also a what was the line? There's another line where we had before, which I was mentioning. Yeah, there was which line? I don't see it now, but we had another line where basically we had another line where that happens as well. I don't see it now, but we had that previous line. So yeah, so anyway, back to this main line after king e7, king g4, very important move. If black goes g6, you go king g5 and king h6 and you're winning. And if black plays, I don't know, like g5 for example, you still just take, king gets over, and you push the pawn forward, and it's all winning by force. Again, very, very tricky. The one last trick is king f8 here, and now you go king g5. If king f7, you very quietly play h4. If king f8, king g6, king has to leave, you eat the pawn, run the pawn to h8 again. So all these lines are pretty similar, but it is winning. Now someone also mentioned they mentioned why not bishop g6. Now I think the problem with bishop g6 is you lose a tempo. So I think after king d7, king e7, king g4, king f8, it's a draw, because the king is getting to the corner, and when you try to cut him off, now I just gambit the juicer, and you can't stop my king. My king just gets to the corner once again, and as I said, if you can keep your king in in this box here, it's a draw. So that one tempo is really, really important, and that's why bishop h7 is the winning move. So that's the so we did get that one right, so we get the second one right, so we're going to keep going. We have two more puzzles. How do you suggest to study puzzles? I think it's what you do is you try to brute force it. You try to look at a line all the way through. Like you'll notice I try to look at bishop g6 all the way through, then I try to look at bishop h7, and then I try to look at king f2. And I think the process of trying to analyze the variation all the way to the end is very important. So that's what I'm saying. However, if you're newer to the game and you're not like a grandmaster specifically, let's say your rating's like 1600, I would actually suggest what you do is you play like one move. You try to figure out a line, but then you do make the moves on your board and get here, and you try to figure it out. Whereas if you're like a grandmaster, you basically what you want to do when you're trying to solve a puzzle is you want to go through the whole puzzle and solve it without making moves. So like what I would do like in the old days when I was younger is I would look at this puzzle, and probably I'd get a piece of paper and I'd write out the lines to the end to make sure my calculation was good, and then only once I'm sure that all my lines are worked out to the end do I go through the puzzle. So that's what I would say. But if you're not a grandmaster, like you haven't spent your whole life pushing wood, then I would say you should probably like play moves individually and then try to work it out. Like let's say you're 1500. I wouldn't actually recommend this puzzle to anyone below 1500 for that matter. I would say look at this position, and then like again, you try to figure out what the next move is and do it move by move versus trying to do the whole thing in your head, because that's not really going to work out, is what I would say.